Your sixth grade. How was your year?
It was actually pretty good.
That's good
I
news.
um, had some incidents for sure, um, but I feel like overall, in a nutshell, I want to say it went pretty well. I know it wasn't perfect, and I know um, some of my colleagues don't agree with me that it was a good school year. um, but I feel like I had a really good year.
That's
Um,
good.
there's definitely a lot going on at the
Hmm.
moment. We
Hmm.
are getting bombarded with a new report card, new math, new language arts curriculum.
Hmm.
We're adopting science curriculum. So next school year, I will definitely feel like a brand new teacher because all of these
Yeah.
changes are insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure. What made your year such a good year?
My kids, I always go back to my kids. I feel like, and I pride myself in making great connections with my kids and my families. And I feel like that is what keeps me going every single day. Um, just knowing that I am a safe person for all of my kids. And I was able to see that a lot of them were struggling with a lot of things no
Hmm.
sixth grade should be dealing with.
Hmm.
Um, and just being their safe person, that just shows me that my purpose is greater than just teaching
Yeah.
curriculum.
How do you become that safe person? How do you become that person where students confide in you and they feel safe around you? How does that work? Because I don't think people need to know how that's done.
I'm going to quote you now because every time you post a video, I feel like I always comment or try to leave some type of message because I feel like I resonate a lot with what you say. That it's definitely an investment. You need to invest in your kids, in every single one of them. Not just like superficially, but you need to get to know who's in your classroom, who needs what, who
Hmm.
is going through stuff. The only way you get to do that is by getting to know them. And the only
Hmm.
way you do that is by investing. And it takes time, a lot of
Hmm.
time.
It
But
does.
um, you really need to pay attention to what they say, what they write, their comments. Even when they interrupt the class, what are they talking about when they're interrupting? What are
Hmm.
they doing to interrupt the class? Are they seeking attention? Are they um, wanting a friend's attention? Are they wanting your attention? Like, what is it that's going on? Because every little thing the kids do is a clue as to who they are as a person. And when you get to know that person, then like you got them in the bag and
Yeah.
they can
Yeah.
they will literally want to do stuff for you.
Yes. Yes. I totally 100% agree with that. But what do you say to a teacher who says, I don't have time to do any of that? I don't have time to build these relationships. I don't have time to invest and listen to what they have to say and look at all these tiny little details to figure that I'm just here and I don't have time for that. I have so many students. What would you
Then
say to that?
you will suffer the consequences later because as hard as we try to stick to the curriculum and let's stick to the timeline and we don't have enough time to teach everything that we need to teach. We already don't have time. So
Hmm. Yeah,
any new teachers out there, you will not have time to get through everything.
that's right.
um, yeah, there's a pacing guide and there's curriculum, and they tell you, oh, yeah, you should be able to get through this in so many weeks. Lies.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's just a paper, and unless you're in a classroom with humans, then the
Yeah.
timeline of that is varies. Um, so yeah, like it does take time. It's time consuming, and that could be an argument that we don't have time. There's not enough time for that. But then at the end of the year or after every school break, you are going to pay for that time because you're still going to be wasting time trying to redirect and trying to bring them back in because you did not make that investment early on.
Yeah, and it doesn't even take a lot of time. I'll
No.
just say that it doesn't take a lot of time. It could when you're lining them up to pick them up from your class, you say good morning to everyone. And if you notice something, you walk through your lines, you know something, you point it out. Hey, like I like that shirt. I like your shoes. You got some new shoes. You got a haircut. That's awesome. You
Yep.
know, you're just making these little connect. You know, and you notice who's not giving you eye contact, and you notice who's looking the other way, and you notice who's seeking attention, and you catch all of those cues, and then you just make your little connections.
Yeah.
It could be that simple, and they come in the classroom, and it could be just little tiny pieces of connections. It doesn't have to be this just intense. Tell me all about your life. Yeah, it doesn't have to be any of that. It could be like real small things, like
For sure.
when you're gonna when the new year starts, when the new year starts and you get your new class, it's like, okay, let me make these tiny little connections. Let me make these connect, and get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And you keep doing that over and over and over. And you're in August, you're in September. Then you could probably get even deeper connections. They're opening it up sometime in there, and you're just making these connections. And then you're sharing yourself
For
because you
sure.
have to be a person. You have to be a real person, right? You can't be this robotic. You have to share yourself. I got a dog. Here's a picture of my dog. Um, Last weekend I went to go see that movie or whatever. I like whatever it is. You're sharing about your life too, they'll ask you about it. They'll ask you about your life. If you make those connections, they'll start to ask you personal questions about your life. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. They've always asked me. One of the biggest questions is, "What happened to your hair, Mister Regard?" That's what you're. I was like, I have hair. Look at, I have hair.
It's
I just
there.
shave it every day. But they ask questions, and just that simple question, where they feel comfortable enough to be like, "What happened to your hair, Mister Vergara?" And I'm like, "I shave it every day. I get some shaving cream. I put
It's
on my
there.
every morning. I swear, look, I have it. You see it, but I shave every morning." Um, Simple things like that. Simple things like that. Fist bump, saying good morning. That goes a long way.
And I think it's also the way we respond to those questions.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
way that we receive and respond to the questions says a lot about ourselves too.
Yeah, yeah. Because it will go back to fear. If somebody asks me a question and then I shut them down real fast,
Mm-hmm.
I just shut them down. Like, what happened to your hair, Mr. Regard? Hey, don't talk about my hair like that. Hey, don't talk about my hair.
Mm-hmm.
If I did that, I'm never gonna ask that guy another question the whole year. Forget that. I'll never ask him a question again. That's what's gonna happen if I just shut him down. And so you're right. It's how you receive these questions. What are you doing to receive these questions?
Yeah.
So yeah. So your year was good though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
there was an incident actually um, with a student who I was warned about, um, and I always try to answer the question why. Why? What's going on? Because there has to be an underlying issue. Something is happening that is making the student react and behave a certain way in school.
Mm-hmm.
Something is happening. Um, it got to a point where this student called me the B word
Mm-hmm.
to another friend, but I overheard her say it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I never take things personal because it's not about me. It's never about me. And that's also an advice to new teachers. Don't ever take things personal. It's never about you. It's about them.
Yeah.
Um, so I kept her and I talked to her about it. And at first she denied it. And then I just told her, hey, look, I overheard you say it. And I understand why you're saying that because I am pushing you, right? And you don't like that. Um, she started crying. And what I told her was, if you think that you calling me that is going to make me push you less, you're wrong. You're wrong because I care about you and I will always care about you, even if you think that I'm that. It's
Yeah.
fine. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I am not mad at you. If that's a reaction you wanted from me, you are not getting that from me. I am not upset. I get you're going through things. She started crying. Um, she was sent to the counselor. After that, we had another conversation, and she apologized to me. She's like, and I told her, look, I know it's not about me. I know it's not about me, but I'm always going to care. Even if you don't want me to care, I am
Yeah,
always going to care. After that, it was like a 180,
that's good.
complete change.
There's this idea that if you build relationship with students, you're soft. You're soft because you build relationships and you don't hold high standards. You don't hold high academic and behavior standards. What do you have to say about that?
It's the opposite. It's the other way around.
Hmm.
Because when I could have easily let the student go to the office and get detention,
Yeah,
and then what?
yeah,
What is that going to teach her? Nothing.
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 The
She's going
hard.
to be more angry. She's
Hmm.
going to be more upset because I sent her to the office and I'm just picking on her all the time. And then now she's in the office because of me. And that was going to teach her nothing. Um,
Yeah, but the hard part is going back to talk to you to be like, sorry, this is what happened. This is what I did. This is how I felt about it. That's the hard part,
yeah.
and that's what that's holding high standards. That's making sure that you're not breaking this connection with this student. No, you wanted to resolve it. Let's resolve it. Let's talk it out. Because the hardest part is to talk that whole situation out.
Yes.
It's easy to be like, you got 30 minutes of detention.
Yeah.
Go to the detention room right there.
That's an easy
That's
way out.
easy.
Yeah.
That's anybody could do that.
Hmm.
Go over here. Go get detention. Go. That's easy. It's that conversation.
Yeah.
It's
And what
that
I've always
conversation. Yeah.
taught my students, and I've always preached to them every single time, you have to own it. You have to
Mhm.
own it, whether you make a mistake, whether you said something about somebody that you weren't supposed to say, you have to own it. Own it, but it's how you move forward from that. That
Mhm.
it's going to show whether you're truly sorry or you're just saying it because you have to say it.
Yeah. And do you hold high academic standards, even
Of
though you
course.
build relationships with
Yeah,
students?
of course. Um, yeah, like it was crazy. This school year, actually, every year I have a lot of kids who just don't turn things in, and I'm just like, I need to see where you're at. Like, I can't see if you don't even show me what you know.
Yeah.
I feel like this year was the lowest percentage of that we had, which was crazy. Um, and as soon as I started noticing like they were turning things in and doing things on time, every time I noticed it, I praised the whole class, and they ate it up. They loved
Hmm.
it. They love me pointing out that they are so responsible. They're super on it, and how they say it, like, you guys ate. That was like my phrase. You guys
Hmm.
ate with this assignment. Like,
Yeah.
everybody turned it in on time,
That's
and
good.
they kind of use that as a motivator to keep on doing it. So then it made my job easier because they motivated each other. And just
Hmm.
with something as simple as telling them you ate.
All you gotta do is boost their self esteem.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do. Just boost it. Acknowledge their wins. Acknowledge the fact that they're
Yes.
doing a good job, because most likely they're not hearing it from other places, and they're craving it. They're starving to hear some adult say, "Hey, good job, way to go, you did it. You could be successful." You're no, no, you could be successful. Like telling them you're good, you're smart. They don't hear it, and so
Yeah.
when you do that, they're like, "Man, I want more of that. I'm gonna turn in another assignment because Miss Vasquez is gonna, she's gonna give me a praise. So I'm gonna
Hmm.
get this assignment done. Here you go. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, just lifting them up, and it's just like us too. The people that we feel comfortable around that say nice things to us, we're gonna go back to those people.
Yeah.
I
For
want to be
sure.
around that person.
Mhm.
Like. So it's a simple thing.
I think in teaching, a lot of teachers might focus on what they are not doing right, what they still need to attain, and it's always so negative. I feel like the vibes could either be negative or positive, and then as teachers, you have to choose which one you want to be,
Hmm.
because there's no in between. I feel like with teaching, there's really no in between. You either are complaining and being negative about everything, or you need to like look at the good in everything. And that
Yep.
is how I approach my students too. um, I I look at their good. Every student, no matter how disruptive or how misbehaved they are, every student has something good in them.
That's right.
And if you are able to recognize that, it goes a long way. My kids would often tell me, Miss Vasquez, thank you for giving me a good grade in math. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
hold up. I didn't give you a good grade. You worked your butt off. Like,
Mhm.
I was just guiding you, but you put in the work. And they often tell me, well, it's because you make it easy to understand and you answer my questions. Again, is that misconception of, okay, I teach it once and you need to be able to do it. That's not the reality. If they ask a question, it's not like I just taught it to you. It's the way that you respond. All right, let's go back to it. Which part, because you can't tell me it's everything, which part are you having trouble with? Let's go
Yeah.
back. How would you approach it? What did we talk about earlier? Do you need me to like do it another way? It's just all in the approach.
It's making them feel safe,
Yeah.
making them feel comfortable. They feel safe around you. They feel comfortable around you, and because of that reason, they're able to approach you and talk to you that way, right? Because if there was no safety, if they didn't feel um, like they could approach you, they wouldn't. You wouldn't have this reaction that you're getting from your students, and that's so important. I feel like that's one of the base things that everybody needs to establish is safety across the board. And that's, I guess, that's what you do.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. If, it's, again, we go back to the curriculum and everything we need to get through and all the things we have to do, those things are still going to be there. They're still going to be there. But the kids that come into your room, they are with you more hours in the day than they are at home. You are their person for, at least in elementary school, you are their person for the whole day.
Hmm.
And if they don't feel safe around you, then, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. And I talked about this on another podcast, but um, I feel like that sometimes burnout comes from not being supported. I said sometimes burnout comes from being not supported, and I feel like it's not necessarily support from administration or people outside the classroom. It's support from the people that you're in front of the most, which are your students. If you're in elementary school, you're in front of your students for 6 hours a day. 6 hours a day, that's a long time times 5 days a week times 180 days. That's a long time you're in front of these students. And if you haven't built those relationships, if you haven't built that rapport, if you haven't taught your students how to have good character if they didn't have it, or how to respect if they didn't know how to respect, and you didn't take that time to do any of those things, like you said earlier, you're gonna be hurting later on, and you're gonna be a world of hurt, and you're gonna try to correct these behaviors, and you're gonna it's gonna be a terrible year for you. So you got to make sure that the people that you're in front of the most, which are the students that you spend the most time with, that you get it, you make sure that you get it right with them. If you could get it right with them and you make them feel safe and you make them feel loved and you boost their self-esteem and you do all those things that you're supposed to, then you're going to have a good year like the year that you're talking about,
Yeah.
right?